What if the story of human origins we've been told is incomplete? What if the answers to our deepest questions, where do we come from and why are we here, are not found in our science labs alone, but etched into the world's oldest clay tablets for centuries? These ancient texts were considered mere myth. But what if they are historical records? Tonight, we embark on an investigation into one of the most compelling and controversial theories of our time: that humanity was visited and perhaps even created by an advanced race of beings known as the Anunnaki, the Sumerian anomaly. Our story begins not with spaceships, but with a civilization that appeared out of nowhere: the Sumerians. In the fertile land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, they invented writing, the wheel, the plow, mathematics, and astronomy with stunning suddenness. They built the world's first cities and established complex laws. But the most profound question is, why? The Sumerians themselves were very clear. They did not credit their own ingenuity. They credited their gods. They called them the Anunnaki, a name that translates to a chillingly specific phrase. He claimed the Anunnaki came from a hypothetical planet in our own solar system called Nibiru, a world with a vast, elliptical orbit. According to Sitchin, they came to Earth for a vital resource: gold. Their planet was dying, and gold particles in their atmosphere were needed to save it. This was an interstellar mining operation, but the work was grueling, and the Anunnaki miners eventually rebelled. This rebellion led to a fateful decision: the creation of humanity. The Anunnaki leadership, led by the scientists Enki and Ninmah, devised a solution. They would create a primitive worker to take over the labor. The texts describe a process that is eerily familiar to us today. They took the biological essence of a primitive hominid already on Earth, what we might call Homo erectus, and combined it with the life essence of the Anunnaki themselves. According to Sitchin's interpretation of Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki came to Earth from Nibiru primarily to mine gold and other resources. The work was grueling and extensive. The Anunnaki were advanced beings, but even they did not want to perform manual labor. The leadership, particularly Enki, god of wisdom and water, and Ninmah, goddess associated with creation, realized they needed a workforce. This sets up the story as an engineering problem rather than purely a mythological tale. The Anunnaki needed labor to maintain their mining operations. Primitive hominids already present on Earth, likely Homo erectus. These beings already had biological structures capable of survival in Earth's environment, but lacked advanced intelligence or language. They were suitable raw material for enhancement. Instead of creating life from scratch, they would modify existing life forms, a process eerily similar to modern genetic engineering. The story positions the Anunnaki as biotechnology pioneers, using existing biology rather than starting entirely anew. Refers to the physical DNA and body of the hominid. This is more symbolic, representing intelligence, consciousness, or divine spark that they transferred to the hominid template. Sumerian texts, as interpreted by Sitchin, suggest a kind of fusion of alien and human essence, creating a hybrid being. Think of it as splicing two genomes or transferring consciousness, its traits, from one species to another. Advanced genetic engineering before humans even knew DNA existed. The first modern human, Adamu, from Sumerian, meaning man or human, physically capable of labor. Enhanced intelligence from the Anunnaki essence, able to communicate, learn, and follow instructions. Purpose is to serve as workers, freeing the Anunnaki from manual labor while enabling mining and resource extraction. This step explains why humans might possess traits seemingly beyond natural selection alone, according to the theory, such as advanced cognition or social organization, symbolic and mythological context. Many mythologies describe humans as created by gods or divine beings. In Sumerian texts, humans are literally made by gods for service. In Genesis, humans are made in the image of God, a possible reinterpretation of the same divine essence transfer story. Sitchin argues that myths may encode historical, biological events. The image of God could metaphorically represent genetic material or essence from extraterrestrial beings. Scientific and philosophical implications. Modern genetic engineering has parallels. Humans now manipulate DNA to create organisms with desired traits. The myth suggests ancient beings performed genetic modification, raises questions about human origin and purpose, suggests humans are designed hybrids, not entirely natural in origin, explains humanity's perceived cosmic uniqueness or intelligence, positions humans as partially alien in origin, giving mythological weight to a sense of being children of the stars. This, Sitchin argues, is the true story behind the creation of humanity in our own book of Genesis. We were made in their image because we are literally their genetic offspring. The evidence and the backlash. Proponents of this theory point to archaeological anomalies as proof. Ancient artifacts that seem too advanced, like the Baghdad Battery, or megalithic structures like the pyramids, whose construction remains a mystery. They argue that global flood myths and stories of godlike visitors are cultural memories of these real events. However, the scientific and academic communities overwhelmingly reject Sitchin's ideas. Linguists dispute his translations of key Sumerian words. Astronomers point out the physical impossibility of a stable, habitable planet like Nibiru on such an orbit. Geneticists see no evidence of alien DNA in our fully sequenced genome. The theory exists in a liminal space, dismissed by mainstream science, but captivating to millions. The philosophical implications. So, if it's not scientifically verifiable, why does this story resonate so deeply? The lesson of the Annunaki theory is not necessarily about historical fact, but about human need. It offers a dramatic solution to the missing link in our evolution. It provides a literal explanation for the gods of old. It gives a reason for human suffering. We were created as slaves, and most profoundly, it answers our cosmic loneliness, suggesting we are not orphans in the universe, but the children of the stars. It forces us to look at our oldest stories and our newest science and ask, what if the line between them is thinner than we ever dared believe? The synthesis. The tale of the Anunnaki is more than a conspiracy theory. It is a modern myth in the making, a mirror we hold up to our own desires for meaning and origin. It challenges the rigid boundaries we place between science and spirituality, to dismiss the story as fantasy, or to let it open our minds to the vast, untold possibilities of human history. The search for our origin is what drives us to explore, to dig, to look to the heavens. That search, that relentless curiosity, is the true inheritance of humanity, whether given to us by nature or bestowed upon us by the gods. The question is not just, who were the Anunnaki? The real question is, what does our belief in them say about us? The search continues.